Basic trainings are Call of Duty WWII's version of perks. Basically, in previous game they were called perks, and they're just little things you equip on your class that give you a nice, added benefit to your character. When you create a class in Call of Duty WWII, you will get to select one basic training perk. This is different from what we've seen in prior titles because we are used to being able to select one perk from each of 3 tiers, where now is all the perks are in one tier together and you only get to pick one. The trade-off is now that you pick a division that gives you like a good baseline of basically perks, so you pick a division that has a lot of perks that are kind of in the same vein, and then you pick one more basic training to complement that in some way. There are 21 basic trainings in Call of Duty WWII, and many of these perks have multiple effects, so I wanted to go in and tell you which basic trainings I consider to be the best in Call of Duty WWII. And I think when you're choosing a basic training, it's important that you consider your division and how you will play with the class overall. Many of the divisions have aspects that overlap in the basic training, so think about how you want to play with your class. So if you want to be very aggressive, maybe you pick the airborne class, and then you could pick a basic training that complements your aggressive play and your airborne class, like the gunslinger basic training. So basically what I'm saying is, decide your play style for that class, pick a division, and then pick a basic training that either complements that or maybe shores up one of the weaknesses of that division, or gives you something from a division that you wanted. Because like I said, some of the basic trainings have abilities that overlap in the division. So without further ado, I'm just going to get into what I think the top 5 basic trainings are in Call of Duty WWII. Starting off with Gunslinger, and these are in no particular order, by the way, but starting off with Gunslinger, this is a basic training that will allow you to shoot your weapon while you're sprinting and diving. The main reason I use this basic training is that if you want to be aggressive, this helps with your sprint out time. The reduced sprint out time perks have really always been rated highly in Call of Duty WWII, or just Call of Duty in general. And in World War II, Gunslinger is no different. If you think back to Black Ops 2, Dexterity was rated highly. In Ghosts, Ready Up was rated very highly. Infinite Warfare, Gung Ho was a very good perk. There's always been a perk that reduces sprint out time. Well, not always, but when there has been a perk that reduces sprint out time, it's always been a very good perk to have. So if you want to be aggressive in Call of Duty WWII, I definitely think you should have the Gunslinger basic training. The next basic training we have is Primed. This is a basic training that is unlocked when you prestige the infantry division, and this basic training allows you to equip an extra primary attachment, and you will also have less flinch when you are shot. This perk allows you to bring an aspect of the infantry division to any division, or even the infantry division itself. So the infantry gives you an ability to have an extra attachment. If you pick this and the infantry, you'll get 4 attachments, but if you take this on any other division, you'll only have 3. So it's nice to be able to take a good aspect of the infantry division to any other division, or just stack it with the infantry and get even more attachments. And then reduced flinch when you are shot is another perk that has pretty much always been rated highly in every Call of Duty game that it has appeared in. Both the flinch perk and the sprint out perk have always been massive crutch perks in Call of Duty. So in this game you'll have to pick one or the other pretty much, or even a different perk. But reduced flinch is a good thing, and extra attachments is a good thing. So I think Primed is a very good basic training. It really just depends on your weapon that you're using in your class. It really depends upon that. If I was going to be more aggressive, I would still take the Gunslinger basic training. The next basic training we have is Scoped. This reduces idle sway and allows you to move faster while aimed down sights. Reduced idle sway is nice in medium to long range gunfights, and strafing fast is always nice with rifles or LMGs. You think of this like the stock attachment or stalker perk. Those have always been very popular in Call of Duty when they've existed. So Scoped is a very good perk. Not only does it give you this ability that's very nice, it gives you reduced idle sway, which is a very good ability, but I wouldn't just pick it as my perk. If this perk was only reduced idle sway, I wouldn't rate it high, but the fact that it also gives you better strafing is very good. And this is another perk that gives you an important aspect of the infantry division. So if you don't want to play an infantry division, but you still want to be able to strafe with your rifle or LMG, this is likely a very good perk for you. And then the fact that it has reduced idle sway is just a nice little extra benefit. The next perk we have is Hunker, and this is a perk that you'll get when you prestige the armored division. And this perk allows you to take less explosive damage and reset the fuse of frags. This gives you one of the most important aspects of the armored division, in my opinion, which is the reduced damage from explosive. This is something that you're really going to want in objective game modes, or not only just objective game modes, but pretty much any game mode, because of how powerful grenades are in this game, and how many people are using grenades, because everybody has one on their class automatically. Hunker is a very good, very powerful perk, and it's very nice to be able to take this important aspect of the armored division to any division that you want to play. And the ability to reset the fuse of a frag is also amazing, because it allows you to save your teammates from frags. If there's a frag in there and you're the only one who has Hunker or the armored division, you could just take that frag, throw it away, and now no one has to worry about it. So not only are you safe from things, you can help save your teammates from things. And then even then, if you're just alone and there's a frag on you, you could toss it back and then maybe get extra kills that you maybe shouldn't get with the enemy's frag grenades. It's a really good perk, and this is another one like Scoped where if it was just reset the fuse of frags, I don't know if I would take it. But comboing that with something that I'm already going to like, which is take less explosive damage, combining the two things makes it very nice. And this basic training pretty much makes the armored division irrelevant for me. I don't really know why I would ever take the armored division when I could just take Hunker and then plus another division that can give me better benefits. Hunker is like, or less explosive damage is really the only reason I would really consider using the armored division. I guess tacticals as well, but not that many people use tacticals in this game. It's really the explosive damage that I want to get away from. So having this as a basic training is extremely powerful, and it really like invalidates the armored division for me, if I'm being honest. The final basic training we have for this video is Flanker. This is basically the ghost perk from games that you're used to. You're going to be hidden from enemies' recon planes, and then it also has delay the detonation of enemy mines. Ghost is an extremely powerful perk, and combining it with delayed enemy mines is a little odd, but it's nice. Just like the previous two perks, the enemy mines thing is nice, but I wouldn't take that. If it was just its own perk, I wouldn't ever take that. But since it's comboing with something that I'm already going to want, it's very nice to have, because mines are annoying to die to. I just wouldn't ever pick a perk just to counteract them. So this is a very good perk, and it's one of the most powerful parts of the Mountain Division. I would say it doesn't invalidate the Mountain Division as much as Hunker invalidates the Armored Division, but Flanker is definitely a good perk, and if you want to use something like Airborne and Silencer in this, then you can actually have like a very good flank class. A lot of people were complaining prior to this game that they wouldn't be able to use the Silencer with like the Ghost perk because they thought the Ghost perk was limited to the Mountain Division. You can see this basic training is basically the Ghost perk. So if you want to have a very stealthy loadout, take this plus Armored, and then you can slap a Silencer on your LMG, or SMG rather, and flank around and be a nuisance. Those are the top 5 basic trainings in Call of Duty World War II in my opinion. Just to go through them again, we have Gunslinger, Primed, Scoped, Hunker, and Flanker. I have a few honorable mentions. These are basic trainings that are actually pretty good and very powerful, but I feel like they're more situational than the basic trainings I listed above. So for the first honorable mention, we have Espionage. This makes it to where enemies you damage appear on the minimap, and this is really good in combination with equipment because then you can check areas for enemies by throwing like grenades into the area. If you combo this with like the Expeditionary Division, and then you were just spamming grenades all over the place, or tactical grenades all over the place, and then you were marking people on the minimap for your team who were also, so they're going to be marked, they're going to be shell-shocked, and they're likely going to be weak from taking damage. That makes it an easy kill for you or just for anybody on your team. So if you want to be a good support player, Espionage plus the Expeditionary Division is likely a way to go. Especially in objective game modes when there's going to be like a lot of chaos going. If you can mark everybody on the enemy team for your team, you're going to be doing your team a huge benefit. Next we have the Rifleman basic training. This allows you to take an extra primary weapon and swap weapons faster. This is basically Overkill, and Overkill is a perk that I rarely rate highly, but this is a very good situational perk for something like Search and Destroy. And the fact that you get to pick a division as well means you get a lot of like other perks. So like if you pick Mountain plus Rifleman, you would be able to like overkill a sniper with an SMG and Search and Destroy, and then you would also have all the stealth perks. Also, this perk allows you to switch weapons faster, which is something that you're really going to want if you're using Overkill, just because having 2 primaries, you generally swap slower to a primary than you do like a pistol. So again, that's another perk that combos something that's nice, but I wouldn't take as its own perk. But Rifleman can be very effective in Search and Destroy, and it's a very good perk, and this is honestly one of the best games for Overkill in a long time, because all you're giving up is your basic training slot. And something like Search and Destroy, you can overkill a sniper for a very easy pick and give your team a huge advantage in the round. So I think Rifleman is a very like good perk, but it's really mainly just for Search and Destroy for me. The final honorable mention perk we have is Inconspicuous, and this is basically Dead Silence. The reason I have this as an honorable mention is because footsteps are very loud in this game, so being able to quiet your footsteps is a good thing. But I'm never really going to use this basic training, because if I was going to use this basic training, I would just take the Mountain Division and then pick one of the other basic trainings from above. Like if I really cared about silent footsteps, Ghost is also going to be a good benefit to me, so I'd take the Mountain Division, which I get both of those things, and then I could take something like Scoped, Primed, or Gunslinger and have like an actual good basic training. So Inconspicuous is a good basic training, but I really don't rate it too highly, just because if I really wanted that effect, I would take the Mountain Division so I can get that effect plus other effects that are actually good. Silent Footsteps really isn't going to be that helpful to you if you're showing up on the enemy's UAV constantly. So that's going to be it for this video, guys. I just want to list out some of my favorite basic trainings, because there's a lot in this game, and it's a lot to think about when you're thinking about like your division and stuff as well. So hope that could elaborate some things on you, and you can kind of see some of these perks in the light that I see them. A lot of these perks in this game aren't too good. There's a lot of them, though. Like I said, there's 21, so you have to choose one of 21. There's a lot you have to go through there. So these 5 basic trainings, I think, are very good, and I think I outlined in what situations you would like to use each of these. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like rating, and if you're new around here, consider subscribing. Thank you for watching.